Hey guys, I am back in my usual spot and I'm doing a little update video letting y'all know what the hell just happened. Because if you didn't know, your girl was in Italy for 3 weeks. Yes, I was. And can I just tell you guys, like, I physically cannot put into words the number of things that went down in the last 3 weeks. It was like the most crazy, insane 3 weeks of my life. That's why I'm filming this. It's now Saturday. I came back on Monday. Guys, I have spent at least half the time I've been back asleep. I have never been so tired in my entire life from anything I've ever done. And I am still tired and I still feel like I haven't even slept yet. So we're going to talk about it because I got a lot to share. I got a lot to tell you guys. And I've been so looking forward to like making a video back in my usual spot with y'all, and then y'all know what's going on and what's this and what's that, because there's a lot to explain. First things first, let's talk about the vlogs. So yeah, no vlogs have come out, and in fact I have privated my previous vlogs, and that's quite simply something we're gonna get into right now, which is that I don't want to I don't know, before I put certain videos out, because I'm very conscious, guys, of being authentic online, okay? I'm very conscious about it, and I never want to make things seem easier or better than what they actually are. Like, I do not want to be one of those highlight reel type people. So I have a lot of fantastic footage, a lot of really beautiful sceneries and everything behind the scenes of this job that I was doing, which if you didn't know by now, we're going to get into this in a minute as well, that I was singing professionally in Italy. We'll talk about that in a minute, right? I don't want to put out, like, because there was a lot of things that were really difficult. It was definitely one of the most difficult 3-week periods of my life, I have to say. I have to say that it was not enjoyable in a lot of instances for a lot of reasons. And so it felt a little bit inauthentic for me to just be like editing these vlogs and like uploading them and it all looking like so lovely and glitz and glam and like so fabulous, when I was feeling the exact opposite. Even right now, listen to me, look at me, obviously. I'm gonna say, look at me. This isn't even normally, I would make way more effort before I would start filming. I don't wear makeup and stuff, but I at least try to, you know, look put together. But I'm so tired. I'm so tired still, guys. It was just emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally very draining for me these last couple of weeks. And a lot of things that I think about, a lot of things have shifted, and a lot of things that I was not really giving myself credit for or not really feeling confident to be sure about, I feel very sure about them right now. So anyway, let's backtrack and let's backstory. So the Lord was like, this is one of those videos that, like, look, I don't know if who cares about this, but I kind of make my videos in the style of like if nobody was watching and if everybody was watching kind of thing. As in, this is just how I am and this is just who I am, and I just put my stuff out there in a way that I feel is authentic to me. What is this? Like, these are the types of things I would be sorting out before coming on camera. Like, what is all of this? Anyway, so basically, in short terms, I was asked by a friend of mine if I wanted to come to do this job in Italy, to which I just said yes. Why did I say yes, you ask? I just felt like I should. That's how me and the Lord are. Like, I just trust my intuition. I trust when the Lord is saying I should do something and when the Lord is saying I shouldn't. Sometimes I feel like not doing something, I don't have a reason. I just strongly feel like I shouldn't. And I follow it. And the times when I've ignored it, guys, I have found myself and others and people I care about in life or death situations where I go back to that moment where I had that feeling of like, I shouldn't be here. I should say no right now. And I didn't. So yeah, just to say that when the Holy Spirit is speaking, I'm obeying as much as possible. And obviously I don't always, because I'm a human being, okay? We love the Lord and his patience. So anyway, I said yes. And then as the job came closer and closer, I started to freak out. I was freaking out because I was like, wait a minute. First of all, guys, backtrack. Haven't said this yet. I have this thing with the Lord where I was like, God, I will do anything. I don't want to sing. Like, I don't want to sing. Please let me do anything but singing. And I can't really articulate just yet why I have such an issue with singing specifically, but I'll give you guys a very small kind of idea It's two main things. Number one, I think singing is a very vulnerable experience because you're just like, you're like putting yourself out. Like, I don't know, for me it's a step further even than dancing, which sounds crazy, right? I feel like acting is like, of the three, is the least vulnerable in my humble opinion. Then you have dancing, which is like moving your body, but then singing is like you have your own singing voice, you have like your own identity as a singer. And then I just think it's such a vulnerable thing to be doing. So that for me, I'm just like, Lord, I don't know if I want to go there with just any old and everybody in the public. Like, let's start there. The other thing is, I don't want to believe that I can sing anyway, because there's so many people who think they can sing who cannot sing. And so those are the people that also make me think I don't want to be out here singing, because I don't want to be one of those people who thinks they can sing and they can't sing. And they're walking around boldly trying to sing, you know what I'm saying? And we live in a world where people don't tell you the truth, which is why the Lord had to do it, all of this in this way, because I don't trust anybody. Like, the only person I would have trusted prior to this trip in telling me that I can sing is the friend who invited me, because she has sung for decades. She sings opera. She's got an incredible voice, one of the best voices I've ever heard in my entire life. And she's a professional. She's professionally trained. And I know, because of how big this job is, she's not going to lie to me. So she's the only person who's going to convince me. And I was saying this to her when I was at her house, and she was laughing. She was like, no way, are you serious? I was like, yes, I'm serious. I don't trust anybody else, because as far as women and as far as people lie to you because they think it's nice to tell you what you want to hear. Can you guys understand why I don't really have friends and stuff like that very easily? Because I'm not one of those. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Don't tell me that I can. Like, this is why I don't sing, guys, because I don't trust people. So the Lord knows. He's like, listen, I need to send her to this lady. Otherwise, this girl ain't gonna sing, because she's not gonna trust nobody around her. And it's true, because I don't know. I just know that people lie to protect people's feelings. And I don't need none of that in my life. Okay? None at all. None. Okay? Anyways, so yeah, so that's why I didn't want to sing. But anyways, I ended up singing. I ended up booking this job, and then as the days are coming, as I'm like listening to my parts, I've only gone and told her that I'm a soprano, right? I'm gone and told her I'm a soprano, and she's like, oh yeah, we need that. We need another soprano. This is so cool. I'm listening to the singing parts. Sounds really high. I'm thinking, what were you thinking saying you're a soprano? Just say. Anyway, we get there. I have to sing now. And I told her, I was like, please, can we go through the songs together? Which was a huge blessing, because can I just say, she, like I said, is way overqualified to even be doing something like this with me. I'm getting a one-on-one, going through all the songs, singing with this woman who happens to be my friend. And it's actually kind of ironic, because this is how things work in the kingdom of the Lord, is God will just make you just befriending people, and like what they do and their status and whatever all have like nothing to do with the foundation of the relationship, to the point where it's almost like not even like important. Like, and that's what's funny about me and her, is despite that being her job, her like daily job that she does, it's like never what we talk about. Like, we're talking about other things. We're talking about the deep things in life. We're talking about transhumanism and what's happening and how they're trying to change us into robots. We're talking about World Health Organization. We're talking about the deeper issues of what we're going through with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And the healing he's doing in our lives. Like, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about casting out demons. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about, oh, by the way, I was on this incredible stage yesterday. Like, literally not part of the conversation. And this is what I love about the people of God, is like, we just know that stuff just does not matter at all. Like, there are bigger things to talk about than like all of that, right? So anyways, it was kind of cool to actually then pay some attention to what she does for a living and actually be in this thing. So then we're doing this, we're on tour, and I'll tell you guys who I was on tour with. I was on tour with Zucchero, so go and check him out. He's fantastic musician, inspirational. Watching this man backstage, because while we were at the venues, when we went like on stage or were rehearsing, we could just go and sit in the audience or even on the stage and watch the band rehearsing. And when I say the band, this is a band made up of people who have worked with the A-list celebrities, like people who have worked with the big names, right? And I only say that just to not to like show them off, but more to give them the credit for the level of talent they had, because these were like the most talented people ever. I've never heard such an incredible live band. The band was so cool, and they were such lovely people. They were so humble. And this is the truth I've realized in life as well, guys. People who actually have a place and a status that they deserve to have and that they've worked for are very humble. It's only people who are like new to fame or like new to success or new to riches who have to like be flashy and like super prideful. right? So these guys were so cool. Like, we were talking to them, I got to know so much of the band. Shout out to the band. Shout out to Monica, the drummer, she's sick. Shout out to Omar, she's sick, singer. Shout out to Kat, she's a guitarist, sick. These people were just incredible musicians, right? So anyway, it was incredible to see all of this coming together. The Lord was like, yeah, you're going to be singing with a group of other people on this stage. And I'm like, guys, I promise you, I cried. Like, the second day we got there, I had to sing at the Palace in Torino. And on the way, I was like crying because I was like, God, what if but I can't sing? Like, I'm like having a whole meltdown. Anyways, the Lord is great, because guess what, guys? The spoiler alert of the story here is that the singing part was the giant I thought was the Goliath I thought I was walking into. No, the singing became like the easy part of the job of this 3 weeks. This is why I just think that God is just so interesting. Like, he's just, the way he does things and the way he like just lets me be in a situation. It's like, oh, you thought that was gonna be the thing? As other things. So I was so busy freaking out about singing that I didn't even anticipate all the other things that were happening. When I say all the other things that were happening, guys, there was intense spiritual battles going on. Intense. And ultimately, this is why I believe the Lord threw me into this situation, because there was so many intense spiritual battles going on multiple different levels. I'm not going to get into the details because it's not my business to share, but let's just say I saw moves of the Lord. I saw spiritual breakthrough. We came head to head with some serious, the kingdom of darkness was not happy that there were people of the Lord in the mix. And that's when I really learned that everything I say on YouTube, by the way, is I live and breathe who I am. Like, when I say that I'm not afraid to, because I remember there was stuff happening, and I was like, Lord, listen, if I need to cast out some demons, I'm ready. Like, I'm like, listen, I'm getting fired up, and I was getting fired up, like ready to just to battle, because I hate this thing that people do in this world that we live in, where people are just like getting hit left, right, and center and feeling sorry for themselves. Like, God didn't give us the opportunity to boss up and fight back. I'm trying to hit on the offensive. I'm not trying to just play the defensive. You feel me? So I'm trying to swing. Sorry, I just hit my notebook. Anyway, so I'm trying to swing. So I'm like, God, I'm ready to go head to head with Kingdom of Darkness. This is how I actually am. Anyway, so this is me there. Lots of different things going down. You guys won't believe the situations I found myself in. The videos that I made before I left, it was like, I watched the things I said that were like prophecies for things that happen. If you watch the video where I talked about the curse of being a high value man and what would happen and why it would be hard to get there and stay there, literally met somebody who perfectly epitomized every detail of what I said in that video and was exactly losing his status as a high value man just for the same things I was talking about. And when I was talking about it, I was just talking about it out of my mind, out of my observations and my calculations over the years, you feel me? And the wisdom that the Lord gave to me. So when I was talking about that, I was like, what? Anyway, so I saw this and I'm like, this is what I was talking about in my video. It was crazy. And then I saw the same thing happen with a woman, but then she was a high value woman and she could maintain her value. But then she was going through the struggles, like I said, exactly the same things through the struggles of what I would class as high value in my high value series, the curse of being a high value woman. She was going through exactly that as well. It's like so many things that I said on YouTube, I was seeing them in action. And there was no reason for me to be seeing them in Italy on a huge project like this. No reason. I was there to sing, right? It was just weird. And I feel like the Lord did all of this because the Lord wanted to show me that I need to remember that just because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who's saying something, which is 90% of my life, doesn't automatically make me wrong. And a lot of times I'm actually right. So that was like a huge revelation. I was like, thank you, Lord, for that. There was even a time when I was giving somebody, like, I wasn't giving a relationship advice, but I gave my opinion because I don't like to give advice. So I feel like everybody's lives are different. Every relationship is different. But I will give you my opinion and I won't judge what you do regardless of what I've said, because that's just who I am. Anyway, I was giving my opinion in a situation. And I remember these older people were saying to me, like, wow, you're so wise. That's such good advice. I was like, thank you. Because I've worked so freaking hard to get here, and the Lord has had to do a lot of work, and he still is doing a lot of work inside of me for me to be this way, which brings me to my big overall conclusion and something that the Lord does with me all the time, right? And this is like the build up of this whole season for me. Is one thing about me and the Lord is the Lord knows that I don't really care about success. I don't care to be rich just for the sake of it. And I for sure do not desire not one bit to be famous. Can I just say that? I have no desire to be famous, because the way that fans treat, you guys have heard it. If you've been on my channel for long enough, I've got hundreds of videos talking about this stuff, right? The way that the way that fans treat famous people is exactly how the industry does. Use, abuse, destroy. If you're not doing what I want you to do, then I'm not going to support you. If you're not changing to this agenda, I'm not going to support you. And actually, why are you doing this? Why are you doing... In fact, this even happened when we was on the tour, right? Imagine this. So Zuko is on stage. He's incredible, like I said, incredibly inspirational man, right? Just complete artist, like genuine artist, right? Somebody in one of the people in the audience literally says to this man, he was like talking, like, you know, vibesing with the crowd. They're like, can you stop talking and just sing? This is what I mean. Like, this is why I don't want fans. Like, people don't care about you. They care about what you have to bring to the table. And this is actually one of the things I struggle with in life in general, is that I feel like a lot of people like to be around me because of the things that they can benefit from about me, but they're not actually invested in me. So I really don't want to be famous, like, because that's just that on steroids, right? So anyway, the Lord has a way of motivating me, because I'm not motivated by getting rich for the sake of it. I'm not motivated by being famous, and I'm for sure not motivated by power, because I know whatever power I have in this life, God is going to hold me accountable. So that's actually why I tend to run from power and leadership a lot, because I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do a bad job. And I don't want to be held accountable. Well, I do want to be held accountable, but it's more like I understand that I will be held accountable. So I'm not just running into stuff as if like this is just a fun game, like being the president of the United States, or this is just a fun game, like being like the leader of a huge company. No, it's not. It's a serious responsibility, just like being a mom. Okay, it's a serious responsibility that's needs to be taken seriously, right? So anyways, I'm not running into any of those, but the Lord does have a way of motivating me, and usually that is by allowing me to get severely angry about something, which I love because it kind of adds an edge to my personality that I think most people don't understand, because a lot of people think because I'm positive and I'm full of light and I'm all blah blah blah, that I'm just like here saying to the Lord, God, thank you so much for how perfect this life is. And I know sometimes it's hard, but I believe tomorrow will be a better day. And that is literally the opposite of how I interact with the Lord when I'm talking about things I'm not happy about, because I've been getting fired up, which he needs somebody like me to get fired up, because not enough people are getting fired up in this world anymore. We're just sitting there. We've got parents complaining about how kids are being programmed in the schools, but how many of you have actually gone into the school? And I'm saying this as an actual example because this happened to me with a kid. I was asking this young person, I was like, yeah, so they're doing all this work stuff in your school, so how many parents have been in? And they're like, no parents have been in. And yet how many older people have everything to say about the younger generation? And this is exactly the topic, guys, by the way, that gets me the most fired up. This is the thing that makes me wake up in the morning, is my desire, my care for the young people. That's what I realized when I was in Italy, because I was like, you know what? Once again, I was thrust into a situation where, not talking about the production here. Can I just say, I'm not talking about the production. Production was fantastic. But I'm talking vaguely over the last season. So before I went to Italy, and then during Italy, and then, yeah, whatever, right? And just my whole life, actually. Forget that, my whole life. I'm sick and freaking tired of being around adults who act like children and then have the audacity to talk about the younger generations, whom of which, by the way, they gave birth to, whom of which, by the way, they are supposed to be responsible for teaching them in the way they should go, like the Bible literally says exactly that, what I just said. So it frustrates me when adults have the audacity, right? Or people older than me, because I want to remind you guys of this other detail that I didn't mention just yet. I was the second youngest of this whole, so the group that I was with, right? There was 20 of us, 20 plus of us. I was the second youngest. So on this whole production as well, and just of everybody I met, I was almost always in the top 5 youngest people there. Just saying. And this is the story of my life. It's always like that. And then I started to think, wait, so I'm so wise and responsible, right? And I'm so dependable, because that's why I'm exhausted, guys. I'm exhausted because I'll be holding weight on my shoulders beyond my years, right? That other people can't even handle. That other adults act like children having to deal with this type of stuff, right? So anyways, So I'm looking at this and I'm like, God, and I started to get really frustrated. I was like, God, you know what? This is what I find unfair about living on this earth, is that people will pick and choose, like somebody like me who's 26 years old, right? People will pick and choose, especially old, I'm talking about older generations, pick and choose when I'm a child, right? When it's coincidental, when it's what's the word? It's a C word, but it's not coincidental. When it's convenient, right? Then, oh, I'm an adult and I need to be responsible for myself, and nobody's responsible for me, and nobody's accountable for anything to do with how I turned out, what I think or anything. But then when it's also convenient, oh, now I'm a child again. So that's what's really interesting from my perspective, and especially when, I'll be very honest, a lot of adults, older adults, have always relied on me more than they can older other adults. So I feel like I have the right to say this. On top of the fact that I've worked with hundreds of kids, right? I was still doing a couple of teaching lessons while I was away as well. I've worked with hundreds of kids, so I very well know how children are, and adults are nothing different, just children with an ego. And so my conclusion coming out from Italy was that I am done trying to work with the people, the stubborn older generation. So not all of the older generation, the stubborn section, the people who only have negative things to say about young people. I'm done. Do you know why? Because you know why I work with kids, guys? It's not because I prefer to, because to be honest, I would prefer in a perfect world to work a job where nobody knows my name, nobody knows my face. I get to just work and make money online while I watch anime with my husband and my family, and I enjoy myself. Like, I would much rather be just unknown and rich. Okay, why do I throw myself into the firing line? Why do I say controversial things on the internet? Because I give a damn about the future generations. That's why. Because the future of tomorrow, the youth are the future. The youth are the future. And so when we're talking about the future and we're talking about the younger generations, we're talking down on the young people, we're quite literally allowing, it's like watching a plane crash and just letting it go ahead and crash when you could do something about it. No, get inside the ring, step up to the plate, and take the position to help solve the problem. Because one thing about me, guys, is I'm a very huge problem solver. Like, I can't just, if I see a problem, it's actually a toxic trait, I feel like, at this point, because people just be relying on that about me way too much, and they don't be doing that in my own life. And I made a friend who's like literally was the greatest gift of this whole trip, who literally was the first time I've had an adult person I can rely on that just steps in and solves problems without me having to then also take on all this weight and all of the weight of their emotions and their feelings and all that, right? It was amazing. I was like, Lord, this is such a blessing. Shout out to my girl. She know who she is. Greatest gift. Best friend I could have made on this in any scenario, realistically. But anyway, I'm a problem solver. Okay, so when I see a problem, I solve it. I don't just like other people complain. There's one of the other reasons I prefer to hang around children in general is a lot of adults just complain about things that they could do something about, but that they have no intention of doing anything about. Yeah, so that's just what I came to the conclusion of. So in conclusion, it was incredible. It was an incredible experience to be on stage. It was an incredible experience to be singing with the people that I got to sing with and meeting some really fantastic people. But realistically, the Lord sent me to Italy not because of the job, but because of everything to do with the spiritual realm. Because the way I'm thinking, guys, the way I'm thinking and the things that I want to do and the way I feel about a lot of things has actually shifted a lot right now. It's shifted a lot because I've learned a lot of lessons in the last couple of weeks. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up because I have food in the oven and I don't want it to burn, which I did this on purpose so that I wouldn't sit here and talk for 40 minutes. But, you know, I guess what I'm saying is, going to Italy, coming back, has just further strengthened my desire and the fact that I really believe above all else the job that I want to do on this earth, and the reason why I wake up is because I care about the younger people. I care about the future generations. I'm not going to sit here and complain. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they're like this, they're like that, when there are things I can physically do to change that situation, because children are so teachable when you talk to them in a respectful way. Here's the funny thing, I know that from teaching. People will tell me, oh, this student is really badly behaved. I'm like, yeah, if every single person who's talking to that kid is talking to them as if they've assumed they're badly behaved, of course they are. Who's talking to this person like they're a human being? And when you talk to kids like they're human beings who have brains, who matter, by the way, who actually matter, who God wanted to be here at this time in this version of technology and everything, you'll be surprised how far you can get with them. You'll be surprised. And again, I know this from experience, but I'll tell you what I won't be doing anymore. I will not be taking my foot off the gas with my feelings towards the older generations, because quite frankly, y'all failing a lot of us right now. Some of y'all are doing fantastic, right? Some of y'all are doing amazing. Some of y'all are having every negative thing to say whilst doing very little. Very little. I've achieved a lot in 26 years of life. That's why I can say the things I can say, because I feel like if you're going to come and tell me that I can't say what I'm saying, start by doing everything I've done so far, and then we can talk. Because most of the things I refer to that I've done in my career, guys, I did by the age of 22, because it was only when I was 23, 24 when I took a break. I took my break off of doing everything. So just have that in mind when you're coming to me and saying I don't understand this. Look at what I've achieved. I've achieved that at a young age. Yes, I did. So before you want to try and tell me how I don't know what I'm talking about, go and look at my accolades and go and look at my roster of what I've done. And when you can do that, then I'm gonna listen to you, because I'm gonna be honest, some of us are actually making more of an effort to help shift and change this. I'm not just gonna sit here and just let the younger generation just turn out badly and then be like, oh no, they were just the worst, like the worst. Oh gosh, I won't get into that. The worst generation. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I really want to talk about that, but I don't want to be giving away spoilers. So if you know, you know. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be there with them because first of all, they need it. God created children to have. That's like why I'm a child of God. You know why? And let me finish on this note. You know why I am the person I am today, guys, that people seem to be so impressed by apparently in a lot of ways? Because I'm a product of the parenting and the eldership of God, my Father. Do you understand? I am a direct result of the work, the patience, the teaching, the love, the grace, the mercy, the correction of my Father. And my Father, I'm saying as in God. That is why I am the woman I am today. And that is why I know that it is important for us as adults to take the position of leadership and eldership and mentorship for the young people and teaching and all of that stuff. Otherwise, we will literally take ourselves down the wrong road like I do all the time. And the Lord has to be like, come back, my daughter. Where are you going? Or teaching me lessons, which I've learned a lot of lessons, guys. Some lessons very hard to learn. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. There will be vlogs, like I said. The vlogs I'm going to put out, but I just wanted to be honest because I don't know how my vlogs are going to be, because I'm going to put out the footage. I took way too much footage for this footage to never come out. I don't know how they're going to be, but they're going to be authentic to what the trip was like, and they're not just going to be one of these other like vlog, come with me in Italy. Like, it will kind of be like that, but it's going to be real, and I'm going to be telling you guys what was really going on in my mind, what was really going on in the situation, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the whatever it is, right? Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Can you believe that I'm back? It feels like I never left. It's so weird. God bless every single one of you watching this. If life's a game, let's play to win. And I'll see you in my next one. Also, sorry that I look disheveled, guys. Listen, I've been just sleeping, but just work with me, okay? I wanted to talk to my peoples. Let me talk to my peoples. Anyways, God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one.